of those things, the dominant phytocannabinoid is going to be delta 9 THC. The next one is going to be CBD or CBN or CBG, but those are going to be in much, much, much smaller concentrations compared to delta 9 THC. We're talking 18 to 24% versus 1, maybe 2%, most likely less than 1% on all of this other stuff, right? Terpenes, half, 1, maybe 2%. So we're talking incredible amounts of overlap in the chemical composition of all of these different THC dominant flowers. And the other thing that many people don't recognize is that even if you were to take one particular strain, right? Let's call it Blue Dream. Blue Dream purchased from a dispensary in Washington versus Blue Dream purchased from a dispensary in Maryland, where I live, might be very chemically different. And it could be because, again, the growing conditions, how they were handled, these things from I guess I'm trying to find what the right word is, but the generational growing and cultivating of these things, these plants change over time, and the chemical expression of the plants based on their genetics can change based on the environment in which they're grown, when they're harvested, and all of that stuff. And then individual buds vary chemically from even the same plant.
Mm-hmm.
The THC concentration in a bud at the top of the plant, closest to the lights or the sun or wherever it's grown, is going to be different from the buds at the bottom of the plant, the left side, the right side. So even if we were to say, okay, Blue Dream is X% THC, X% CBD, X% pinene, limonene, linalool, whatever, that's happens to be the chemical signature of the one bud that was tested from that crop, and is not necessarily exactly the same for all of the other buds from that crop, much less the next crop, much less the crop grown across the country 18 generations later. So the naming convention for strains is interesting from a marketing perspective. I think that there's likely some consistency, but it's not precise. And I think there's more overlap than difference, and there's inadequate research to show how much of that is true chemical composition driving pharmacology versus I'm buying a cannabis plant I'm buying it for a reason. I intend to have some certain effect. The guy that sold it to me said, it's great for this. So I have this whole bias going into it of this is going to do this for me. This other guy said, yeah, it's definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
It's more likely to do that than do something completely different.